Hi, I'm Tom Elliott, founder of OcuRoute, and I'm pleased to be sponsoring this podcast. If you need help taking control of your CI/CD pipelines, come see us at ocuroute.com.
Hi, I'm Matt Little. I'm the Director of Counselling and Education at EmpoweringAwareness.Asia, and I'm a proud sponsor of this podcast.
Hey, how are you, Sai?
Doing good, sir. How you're doing?
Very good. I'm excited to do the interview together. Uh, yeah.
So, firstly, thank you very much for giving me opportunity to present you and tell about you to my audience.
Thank you very much for reaching out. Usually, I'd say most of the people that reach out, they're trying to pull some scam or something like that. So, but see, I still remain open. I read all my messages, and yeah, when I see something of quality, it's works both ways. So I'm super excited to do this, as I said, and thank you for reaching out.
So, I've gone through your profile. I can see you're doing great work as a business owner. So, I thought to tell about your work to my audience.
Yes. That's a great idea. I hope your audience enjoys it. I will. Yeah, I mean, we should discuss, and you can ask me anything. I can present a bit. How much time do we have approximately?
So, I mean, I can speak. I want to know how much time you have.
I have about 2 hours at most. So I have 1 hour, but after 2 hours, I have to cut because I have a meeting. So yeah, realistically, like 1 hour and 45 minutes, something like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one hour is good.
Okay, good, wonderful.
So, so can you tell about your work to my audience?
Yeah, I started Ethernity Cloud in 2017. It was just a vision of decentralized computing at a time, decentralized cloud computing, similar to AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, but with a different design where the cloud can be anywhere in the world. It doesn't have to be in a data center. And obviously, for that, some specific requirements technically have to be met. So that was the challenge. At the time, the technologies were not so ripe. That's about 6 years ago. But now, or more than 6 years ago, and now we're looking at bringing this already to the market. Now, of course, it's still challenging because everything has a different design, so it's a mindset thing. That's why mostly we propose this to Web3 enthusiasts and developers that are familiar with Web3 technologies, or Web2 enthusiasts as well that understand the opportunity and I'd say the advantage of having a decentralized computational network, and the biggest advantages of it. I can go through the advantages. So obviously, the first one is independence of computation, and so sovereignty for data. This is very important in today's age. Not trusting a specific cloud service provider actually gives a level of trust in the technology. And the way we integrated the technology, we made it so that the processes that are applied to the data, to the information, are transparent. However, the data itself, it's protected, it's always encrypted. And we use specific set of technologies. Confidential computing, it's one of them. Trusted execution enclaves. It's what makes the data protected and the blockchain and transactions of the blockchain can give some information about the metadata and about what is being executed. And this gives the tools to any developer or any user that uses technology through a DApp to know that their data were processed in a very specific way and was never exposed, which is a luxury now in today's world because cloud service providers are mandated to monitor everything, and of course they are doing so to prevent abuse. In our case, the abuse is kind of it leaves a lot of trails, so nobody would use it to abuse unless they're quite stupid. But I mean, yeah, people are stupid sometimes, but that's on their own. If they want to do that, that's their own problem. It's similar to Bitcoin from a let's say philosophical perspective. Bitcoin did the same in the financial sector, and everybody knows now that if you use Bitcoin to money launder, or I mean, you could do that initially, but now it's a big trail there. So anyone can see that, or law enforcement can get to it. It's immutable as well, so it cannot be deleted. So I wouldn't, I wouldn't recommend doing anything bad with the technology. But of course, from the perspective of bringing new advantages, the advantages obviously good, a good market for compute. Right now, we're at least 10 times more affordable than AWS or Google for the same type of service. And yeah, anyone looking at this, and we brought this up mostly for, I mean, I live in Germany. So in Germany is quite, let's say, advantageous from this point of perspective. They have data centers, they have there's and usually the market affords this type of services, high performance computing. However, the rest of the world is not so, doesn't have so much, it's not so lucky, right? And I come from Eastern Europe, from Romania originally. And I know over there's not, I mean, if somebody can save costs on compute, they will do that. So we created this market that is quite competitive from the price level, obviously. And then we provided tools for operators to set up their nodes and be part of the network, and tools for developers to develop their own software that is can be used as a similar to a function as a service kind of way, or batch processing kind of routine within their applications. So they can both use it on front end because we have a Node.js component. So if they know JavaScript, they can integrate it really easy, or they can use Python, which is quite popular and being used for kind of like AI stuff, machine learning and large language models, which is being tested and used right now. Also, having a very good advantage at price. So yeah, this is something we really brought up to speed and to the world.
So what exactly the problem that you want to solve with this solution?
The problem is privacy. So right now, most of the users don't, like anyone using the cloud, they basically share their information with the cloud service provider. And that, from the first one perspective, it gives them a lot of power, which most of the, from a philosophical perspective, a lot of Web3 users don't want. They want to maintain their data, they want to maintain their finances, they want to maintain their flexibility and their identity. And that's what we allow people to do. So they don't have to connect or share that information with any service provider. By design, information processed, it's encrypted, and only the data owner wallet can decrypt that. and this gives full power to the user.
So how it is different from the existing system?
Different from, sorry?
How it is different from existing system?
From centralized service providers, you mean? Yeah, centralized service providers get the data from the users, then their systems monitor everything the user does. And this is where, let's say if you have a business or if you're working and you're doing something like intellectual property, or maybe you have a trading bot algorithm or something that it's really you want to keep for yourself, you are sharing it with the cloud service provider by default. And it's, I mean, you can probably work around it and do a lot of, things to encrypt it and so on. But ultimately, they still have access to the information, because unless you're using specific functions as trusted execution environments, then somewhere, somehow, the cloud service provider can get access to it. There's also cloud service providers that offer this type of technology, confidential computing and trusted execution environment. However, there are no tools on how to access it easily. So for somebody that wants to, let's say they have a business, they want to like training or manage finances, they don't want to share cryptographic keys with the cloud service provider, for instance. Like for instance for staking, or I don't know, whatever reason you want to use it for. And in order to do that, now they have to build like a stack to communicate with it, and we already built the stack for them. So we're a bit ahead of the times, and we're dedicated on protecting the user information. And also, cloud service providers right now just provide like console access, but the console itself is not encrypted. So the process is encrypted, but not the transmission of the data. So it's a lot, discussion goes way in depth, really technical. What I can say is that from the point where the data is encrypted inside the user browser or at the application level, which happens on the client machine, till the decryption of the result of the processing, the data still is encrypted all the time and it's inaccessible by anyone besides the owner. So that's what no cloud service provider provides right now, unfortunately. But yeah, that's we do now, so it's way better.
So what do your customers say about this?
The customers use it and they're happy. I'm not sure what I mean, we did not interview most of the, like we don't interview our customers, to be honest. They just use it and they do their thing. Like, I don't know, some like we have a few use cases. One of the use cases in healthcare. We have a couple of use cases there because they handle patient data between insurance company and hospitals, right? Or between the pharmacy and drug manufacturers, for various purposes. And also online drugstores and online pharmacies. It's always the problem is the patient data, which has to be processed in a specific way, and it has to be protected as well at the same time. So this is where our technology can be used without restrictions, and it's matches with any kind of use cases. And the insurance as well, like as a healthcare organization, you want to provide some information from your data, but you don't want to provide like ways for the insurance company to exploit this and find out details about the patients, because then they will increase their healthcare policy, like their monthly rate. So this is kind of where we're like the use cases where they're at. In the finance sector, specifically DeFi, we have use cases for trading bots with very specific algorithms. So right now, if you set up a trading bot on AWS, AWS knows your algorithm. So in theory, one of their technicians or somebody working there could know what you're doing and then just, do the opposite or bet against it. And yeah, I mean, if they know how the algorithm is set up, then it's problematic. And yeah, so this is kind of the stuff we're doing.
So, which industry will get benefit with this kind of a system? Of course, data privacy is important for every business which belongs to every industry, but specifically,
sorry, can you ask again?
Which industry needs this kind of a service?
Oh, it goes to all industries, but I just mentioned healthcare and finance, but you can do it anywhere, logistics. But I say wherever there is piece of information that needs to be protected, yeah, there it is, yeah.
So, which country users you have? Which country customers you have right now?
We build the ecosystem. We don't have customers, so they use the ecosystem. They're not our customers, so there's nothing I can talk about. They have access to the ecosystem, the same you can have access to Bitcoin or any public protocol or ledger. They don't need a contract with us. There are smart contracts they use for processing, so we don't even need to know who they are. So we don't even care.
So how actually your system works, Ethernity Cloud?
Yeah, I can explain. It's really simple. When before the data is sent for processing, it's being encrypted. It uses as encryption a key that is available only inside a trusted execution enclave. Inside this enclave, the processing happens, and then the enclave encrypts the data with the user's public key. So none of the input or the output of the transactions or the processing, it's being exposed at any time. And the protocol enforces this. So what we have built is using blockchain. Is the hashes of this information are stored on the blockchain, as well together with the request for processing, which includes our token, which is paid to the operator for doing the processing, and based on how much computing resources are allocated to the processing, they can charge for more or less tokens. And it's all built into a suite of smart contracts. And yeah, this is how it works. So pretty much the focus is on the data. Then part of this, the developers have to build specific, let's say, we call them enclave, like kind of like software, like function as a service backend kind of functions, which they build into an image, which is a Docker image. And the Docker image is pushed on IPFS. And then that's pulled before processing. And that's hashed as well. And to build a Docker image, we have an SDK, so any developer can take that and start building, and then can write any function in the backend. And then from the front end of their dApp, the user of the dApp can call these functions. So then the protocol starts. I hope I gave you a good understanding of how it works.
So, which size business actually gets benefit of it?
Which, unfortunately, on my side, maybe I turn louder. It's not, the quality of the sound is not so good, so it's hard to understand.
Yeah, which size of the business actually gets benefit out of this service?
Which side of the business gets? I'd say it can put in any. I'd say someone from the CSO or the CIO that wants to protect information for the customers or patients or whatever, they take the most benefit because it does check a box on customer data protection. Imagine you're running a business and you use a lot of customer data that you can be liable for, right? And then you want to use a technology that does not expose that information to any third party, because that's how you maintain, in the first place, knowledge about what you're doing. And while doing so, you want to, of course, cut down a bit of the costs. At the moment, there's big opportunity. And also, at the same time, you want to have a very flexible process of what you're doing with that information. And from this perspective, we check all boxes. And also, what's very important is that the infrastructure, so the way we have built this, the infrastructure access or the infrastructure security, it's separate from the customer and the data security. This doesn't exist yet, but it's only normal to be so, because right now the data, it's part of infrastructure. Everybody's struggling to protect the infrastructure, which is very complex to protect, just because we want to protect the data. Imagine you don't have HTTPS for browsing. Let's say you don't have it, right? And then you're trying to protect your internet service provider, your Wi-Fi network, make sure nobody is trying to gather data from there, right? We do the same. However, not only for data transmission and storage, but also for processing of the information, which is very, very important. Because nowadays, all the infrastructure, most of the infrastructure are automated, and but there is no appointed specialist to take good care of them in detail. It's all automated, mistakes happen, hackers get access. So let's say in our infrastructure, Ethernity Cloud, if a hacker gets access to an operator node, they don't get access to the data. So all they can do is probably shut it down or something, right? Or use its resources, in which case that specific operator gets less rewards from the network. However, the user will, or the protocol will fight to find a better operator to process that request, well, reschedule the task and so on. That's depending how the application is built, but pretty much the protocols offers this possibility to reschedule the task with a different operator, and does that by default. It's always looking for the fastest responding one and so on. So from this perspective, that's how, from somebody from a security or also from maybe security operations, they would want to use this technology or try to integrate it within the products they build. or the
So at
services.
last, what do you say about Eternity Cloud to my audience?
I say we're welcoming very smart people, people that understand the benefits of this technology, to come to us, to join our community and start building on their own, or even we might build stuff together, part of the community. Get curious about it. It's quite, I'd say, mature, to a point where it can be used compared to other projects in the space right now. They can actually run some tests. We have a mainnet that launch. We have an SDK. We have um, uh, we have also a testnet if they want to just test some, let's say, without paying, I'd say, initially. So there's a couple of options that users have, and developers, they should look into it and yeah, develop. And yeah, that's what I wanna share with your community. And we're open, obviously, to engage and build new and amazing things together.
So can you spell it to my podcast listeners who are listening this on audio?
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Can you spell it? Can you spell your website to my podcast listeners?
Explain the website.
Can you spell it?
If I can.
Can you can you
If
can
I
you
can.
spell it?
Spell it. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yes, it's Ethernity.cloud. So Ethernity, it's written like ether, Ethernity.cloud. So ETHERNITY.cloud.
So I'll put the link in the description also on the screen as well. People who find the video anywhere in the internet can able to see the service that you're doing and can able to see how it benefits their business.
Yeah, this would be great. Their business or their really, we're looking to have engagement and let's say traction to the product. We have a couple of use cases, but we're looking for something much bigger for adoption.
So yeah, at last, what's your observation about my work? You have seen my work.
I've seen your work. As I said, I'm impressed by what you have done and the people you have interviewed, and hopefully we can connect and bring some very good business and very good talented people to work and develop this further.
Great. So I did masters in software engineering, also bachelors in computer science and engineering. Right now, I'm working as a DevOps engineer. So apart from this, I'm interviewing experts like you who are already in the industry and solving different business problems, also
Mhm.
working in different development of different products. So talking uh, to experts like you who are into different parts of the world and who are working on different products and services and businesses, how this experience is going to helpful for me in my future.
Yeah, I think this is very good. So, like, also if you're a DevOps engineer, uh, you understand this concept of microservices, right?
Yes.
So when you deploy a microservice with some environment variables, which are passwords, things like that, right? They always, even with Kubernetes, they have this secret thing where you can do secrets and stuff, which basically that um, hides that configuration from other developers and so on, right? But whoever has access to the host that runs Kubernetes has access to all the passwords. So then, like the storage could be encrypted and so on. But if you have access to the systems, then it's like already like it's not protected enough, right? So our approach is more creating these Docker containers that run in a trusted execution environment, and you can integrate it maybe at GitHub level. I mean, our SDK, you can integrate it in our pipeline if you want to, and then you can deploy directly there. However, there is some limitations right now. So we can do like non-interactive processes yet. So you can do function as a service. You can do like batch processing, but you cannot do like real-time applications yet. That respond because of the limitation on blockchain. So the communication is with blockchain and transactions. So I mean, blockchains now started to get faster and faster with layer 2, layer 3. So it might be possible in the next few years to get like a chat application, because nobody wants a chat application that gives you a reply in 20 seconds, or I mean, it's unusable, you know, it's just like, yeah. So we decided not to do anything that requires like heavy interaction, but anything else definitely worth using and worth playing with. And mostly in these spaces where security is highly important. So from your perspective, you can integrate it in a pipeline, and you can deploy, for instance, a Python service or a Python script that does something without much interaction, right? So let's say a trading bot, or like without not with no need, like some full automation that doesn't need interaction from the outside. Like a trading bot would just connect to exchanges and trade, right? So wouldn't need interaction. Well, the only thing that you need is to stop it if you want to stop it, but would have the algorithms and everything in there. And I don't know, like a healthcare, let's say, microservice that does something consistently, takes information from one place, processes, puts it in another place, and things like that. Because the information you put in that place, they all need to be encrypted with the public key that's provided by the enclave, and it's in the SDK. So you can encrypt and put anywhere this type of information, and then feed it inside an enclave, or query it, grab it, things like that. But don't expect a high turnover for replies at this stage. But in the next couple of years, I think that will be really, really possible, and that's what we're looking at. But for now, just the process takes maybe 10, 20 seconds to boot. We're trying to minimize that. As functions as a service as well, you publish a function, then it takes a bit of time. So we're trying to minimize that as much as possible through caching and stuff like that. And then once it starts, then the data starts being processed, and it's from a DevOps perspective, that's something you can use, and you can trust that the information, it's not shared with the hosting, whoever hosts the service, and you can also get a good price quote on it. So it's I think a win-win kind of. At least for now. Once the system will start being used more and more, then the token price will increase, and the default price right now, which is 1 token per hour, 1 ECLD per hour, will would be a bit too much for an hour of compute. And then the operators, this is where the network price fee calculation algorithm will kick into place, and that's what we're still working on to make it let's say automatically affordable, something like that. So we want to maintain always a price that's affordable, even if the token price goes out the roof and is very expensive, then the operators will just ask for less of it. So that's the algorithm we're looking at. But let's first we need to engage and then bring this usage, and then we can work on making it, let's say, good for the market. Meanwhile, anyone can buy it, can stock it, and it's real computing power that they're buying. So, yeah.
So, what do you say about my work? Me interviewing different experts around the world.
I think it's very courageous what you're doing. I think it's courageous, and also I'd say, I don't know how to say this, impactful as well. So it's impactful. I think communities appreciate this type of work, and it's definitely the world need more people like you. That's definite, 100%. So yeah, congrats to that. It's something that the world really needs. Because a lot of people, they just do this, I don't know, to get famous, or to like, not to like bring people, but just for attracting stuff, and they lose their focus. And your focus is focused on, like, your focus is bringing people, important people together, and that's very good all the time.
Right. Can I put this clip on my podcast with your permission?
Yes, but maybe you want to trim it a bit, yeah, like where I asked 2 times what the question was and stuff, like you can just cut, adjust it a bit.
Sure.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, obviously you can put it. That's fine. I was hoping you were doing so. Is it on YouTube? Once you put it, let me know if let me know the link so I can share it within our community as well. And then our community will, hopefully, they will follow you as well. I think this is win-win for them as well. They might see some interesting stuff in your other interviews. So yeah, I think it's good.
I'll share it. Thank you again for giving me opportunity to present your work. Iosif, keep going and keep inspiring people.
Thank you very much, Sai. Likewise, congrats on your blog, or your, I'm not sure what it's blog called, right? Like interview platform. What you're doing. Yeah. I think it's gonna be very, very successful.
Thank you, sir. Again, take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye.